Odyssey MLB insider Bob Nightengale. And a good afternoon, Bob. How the heck are you?
Yeah, doing great, thanks.
How different are things when you're the champs as far as talking to free agents? Is there momentum here to be capitalized on?
Oh, absolutely. I'm here at the general manager meetings, and you already see agents kind of running to Chris Young and saying, "Hey, congratulations! Hey, by the way, you interested in my guy? How about this guy?" So no, everybody wants to play for a winner. I mean, so much easier to recruit players when you win.
What are you hearing about the Rangers and the top free agents? Are we going to be big players once again?
Yeah, I think with the money the team made, obviously those free agents work out. There's plenty of times it doesn't. But no, I would think they'd be on every free agent. Whether it's Aaron Nola or a Shohei Ohtani or a Blake Snell.
What do you think Ohtani's decision comes down to?
I think just comfort level. I mean, it's not money. He's going to get over $400 million no matter what. He makes more money than any player in baseball history off the field. Makes over $30 million, $35 a year that way. So yeah, I think it's comfort level. And Texas provides that with the retractable roof. No one else can be a game every day.
Bob, do you think this is one of these things where everybody sort of waits around for the Shohei domino to fall, or is he going to be kicking this thing down and taking his time before he makes his decision?
Well, I think it'll take some time. I don't think he'll sign before mid to late December. But that being said, he can't pitch next year either. I mean, he had Tommy John surgery 5 years ago, and he missed 2 years. So there's no guarantee he even pitches in 2025. So it shouldn't affect an Aaron Nola or a Blake Snell or a Yamamoto.
Yeah, what's the view from clubs when you mentioned the Tommy John about him pitching? I mean, is that a situation where as soon as he's ready to go, teams are comfortable just throwing him back in the starting rotation?
Well, we'll see. I mean, a few GMs say they wouldn't be surprised if he never pitches again. Now, like I said, he had that Tommy John in 2018, and he didn't come back for 2 full years. So I think, saying, hell, we'll be ready in 2025, that might be a little bit unrealistic. So I think teams looking more for him as a big-time slugger, DH. If he doesn't pitch, put him back, put him in the outfield. Certainly he's got the speed and athleticism to be a great outfielder.
Bob, in baseball, do teams and I'm just asking this because my background's in the NFL. In baseball, do you look at, like, if there's somebody that are big spenders? Now, we've seen the Mets spend a bunch of money and not win, but then the Rangers spend a lot of money and then you get a championship. Do teams follow that path, or is it just team by team as far as their market sizes?
No, I think they want to follow the path, and I think, this past winter, or past summer, I should say, was a disaster for, the union and free agent market because so many free agents are busts. But then you look at Texas, it worked out.
Right.
You look at San Diego Padres, they had more money. They had more, talent than Texas Rangers, but you better have that clubhouse chemistry, and you better have guys that want to play. And the Rangers had that, obviously with Bruce Bochy leading the way, but you better have clubhouse culture, or you'll be like the Padres.
Jordan Montgomery certainly is a fan favorite now in Texas, and they would love to bring him back here in a Ranger uniform. What is the market for him, and do you think the Rangers are the front runner to be able to re-sign Montgomery right now?
I would think they're the front runner just because he liked it there, he won there, easy place to play, no state taxes and everything else. So I would think front runner. That being said, his market's gone up a lot for what he did in the postseason. Teams like the Cardinals who really wanted him back and said, hey, we're going to do everything possible to bring him back. Now they're saying, wait a minute, now this price tag may be way too much.
Yeah, what do you think that looks like? We're well into the 20s at this point, right? For a guy that went 1 year and $10 million last year, he's going to more than double it, maybe triple?
He could be a guy that gets, say, 4 years at 100 or 5 years over 100, something like that. The free agent market is that thin, and not going to have DeGrom back until late in the season, if that. And like I said, the Rangers made a lot of money in the postseason, and free agencies work for them. So you might as well go back to the well again.
It's our Odyssey MLB insider, Bob Nightengale, with us here in the GBag Nation. So if Montgomery leaves Texas, signs somewhere else, do you think, assuming he's still out on the market, they would turn their sights to an Aaron Nola, depending on what happens with him in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I mean, you got a Aaron Nola who's on top of the class of Blake Snell and Yamamoto from Japan. So I think those three guys are they're going to be the big expenditures. When you're talking close to $200 million for those guys. So those are the guys everybody wants.
Bob, is it? We went through it with Hugh Darvish. Is there still that rule where you have to post and all those things when you talk about Yamamoto and the potential to get him? Is that the same rules that we went through with the other Japanese players?
Yeah, same thing. And Joel Wolf, the agent who's going to represent Yamamoto, just talked. He's not going to talk about it yet. But yeah, you're right. That the posting will exist with him.
It's a Bob Nightengale with us. Okay, those three gentlemen that you just mentioned, Yamamoto, Snell, and Nola, would all three go to the top of the Rangers' rotation, at least until DeGrom gets back?
Yeah, I mean, all three are legitimate aces. I mean, Snell is going to win the Cy Young Award. Yamamoto won a few Cy Young Awards in Japan. Nola dropped off a little bit this year. His stock dropped, but he's been very healthy. He hasn't missed a start in like 5 years. So, but he would still be the number one guy. At least for now.
Do you think the Rangers were too risky with getting old injured guys? I mean, they did win the World Series, but that's a couple of big ones, isn't it?
Oh, it is. I mean, with Scherzer, at least with the Scherzer case, you got the Mets paying half the contract. So, paying half, it's a lot more, doable. So if only he pitches, say, 140, 150 innings next year with that contract, it's like, okay, he's okay with it. So, hopefully he'll still be healthy again next year. I know he's been, banged up a lot. And then, we'll see about DeGrom. I mean, when he's healthy, he's the best in the business. He just has a hard time staying healthy.
How much of a favorite would the Rangers be if they get Ohtani to go with what they already have? Are we looking at a prohibitive favorite, at least in the American League?
Could be. I mean, Houston's still going to be, back, powerful. Baltimore is only going to get bigger and better. You can never discount Tampa, but they probably would be, even though he'd just be, a DH next year. They probably would go in as a favorite, at least a slight favorite over those teams. Even though the AL is just powerful, and they got 3-4 teams there in the AL East. The Yankees are going to bounce back. Boston should be better, but the Orioles have a chance to be a juggernaut here. And so the Rangers. I mean, the Rangers, they hit that free agent market again. Maybe they do something like the Astros. I mean, the Astros. This is a dynasty for those guys. 7 straight ALCSs. 4 World Series berths, 2 titles. Everybody wants to be the Astros.
We only count one around here, Bob. Yes, it has been very impressive what Houston has done. Now, we've seen the Rangers make some massive signings over the last 20 years, so nothing would totally surprise us. But Ohtani, I mean, what are the other important factors for him? I would think off the top, there is inferior summer weather outside, and it is hotter than heck here in the summer, and that's not Southern California. And then it's an extra 3.5 hours on a plane away from Japan. What are the other big factors Ohtani's going to be considering here?
Well, the one thing to be optimistic about is that, there's only 2 teams that he considered outside of AL West and NL West, and that was the Chicago Cubs and the Texas Rangers. But I think the fact, he's going to pitch every day. When he pitches, you're going to have a game every day. I think that weather is a factor, just the fact that he can be in a controlled climate like that. And as far as the weather, just regular-wise, he never goes out anyway. He just goes back to his apartment. He eats there, never goes out. So a real homebody. So I don't think that will play anything. He wants to play with the winter. Like I said, I think the no-state taxes would be a factor. But, yeah, then I think it would come down to, okay, do I want to go to Texas or do I want to stay in L.A., either pitch for the Angels or the Dodgers?
The bullpen clearly was the Rangers' biggest struggle. They were able to navigate that, of course, to win the World Series. But what can you share with us about Josh Hader and the potential of him in free agency? And then what's the rest of the relief market look like?
Well, yeah, Hader stands out by himself. I mean, everybody I talk to say Hader's going to end up in Texas. I think it's a perfect fit. He lives here in Scottsdale. Easy flight away. He'd love to play for Bochy. But yeah, he's the top guy out there. And Philly needs a closer too. But he would rather play for Texas, like a lot of guys would. And you never know with the bullpen. I mean, I remember talking to Bruce Bochy before the playoffs started. I remember Atlanta 2 years ago, same thing. Their bullpen stunk all year long, lights out in the postseason. So you just never know from one year to the next. But it makes life a whole lot easier when you have an all-star closer.
Hey, Bob, this is not a Rangers question, but I was kind of following along with what's going on in Milwaukee with Craig Counsell and now with the Cubs. Are we going to hear a lot of weird stories about how all that went down for him to leave Milwaukee to go to Chicago?
Well, at some point he'll speak, I'm sure, just how hurt he was or devastated he was with that happening. There are a lot of managers not happy with this. They, hey, there were 5 other job openings. Why do you have to take somebody else's job? I don't think Bruce Bochy would ever done such a thing. So, managers are happy that, raises the pay scale. I don't know how, Counsell's making twice as much as Bruce Bochy.
Sure.
Bochy's got 4 World Series rings. But I think just the element of taking someone's job. I mean, Joe Madden with the same thing. A lot of guys were very upset with Joe Madden when he did that twice. Once with Rick Renneria, another time with Brad Ausmus.
Bob, final question. What do you think the Rangers' payroll could be? It was $252 this year, and that's like 20 over the luxury tax threshold. They're around 210 right now projected. Bringing in Ohtani would get them to 260. You had the Yanks at like 275. What's expectable? What do you think a team would be willing to do?
I think they could go up to a 260, 270 range just because they made money last year, and not going to worry about it. Yeah, you're going to pay some taxes, particularly a second time hit, but you're not going to worry about it as long as you're winning. The only time you really get disappointed is when you're like the Mets or the Padres and you completely underachieve like you did.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate your reporting so much, and thanks for staying locked in on the Rangers. We'll be following you all off season.
All right, look forward to it.